The hover chair hummed softly as Jiwoo guided it through the dark tunnel. The blue light from her scanner cast strange shadows on the rocky walls. She had been working in these mining tunnels for 3 years now, ever since the accident that took away her ability to walk. Most people felt sorry for her, but Jiwoo never wanted their pity. She had a job to do, and she did it well. Her scanner beeped. Something was wrong with the readings. The energy levels were far too high for this section of the mine. This tunnel was supposed to be empty, abandoned years ago when the corporation moved operations to Sector 9. Jiwoo frowned and tapped her scanner. Maybe it was broken again. These cheap devices always had problems. But the beeping grew louder. The energy signature was getting stronger. Jiwoo's curiosity won over her caution. She pushed her hover chair forward, deeper into the tunnel. The air grew colder. Her breath came out in small white clouds. This was definitely strange. The colony's heating systems worked everywhere, even in the old tunnels. The tunnel opened into a massive cavern. Jiwoo's eyes went wide. She had explored hundreds of caves in her 3 years here, but nothing like this. The cavern was enormous, easily the size of 10 football fields. Strange machines covered the walls, their surfaces covered in lights that pulsed with an eerie green glow. Cables as thick as tree trunks ran along the floor, all leading to the center of the cavern. And there, in the middle of everything, was a creature that should not exist. Jiwoo's hands gripped the arms of her hover chair. Her heart pounded in her chest. The creature was massive, at least 50 feet long from nose to tail. Its body was covered in scales that shimmered with colors she had never seen before, blues and purples and silvers all mixed together. For powerful legs ended in claws that could tear through steel. Wings, folded against its back, looked strong enough to create hurricanes. It was a dragon, an actual dragon, but this dragon was not free. Thick metal chains wrapped around its legs, neck, and wings. The chains glowed with the same green energy as the machines on the walls. Where the chains touched the dragon's scales, the skin was burned and bleeding. The creature's breathing was labored, each breath seeming to cause it pain. Jiwoo wanted to run. Every instinct in her body screamed at her to turn around and leave. This was not her problem. This was not her business. She was just a surveyor, a paralyzed girl in a hover chair. What could she possibly do? Then the dragon opened its eyes. They were golden, bright as the sun, and filled with an intelligence that made Jiwoo catch her breath. These were not the eyes of an animal. This creature was thinking, feeling, understanding, and it was suffering. The dragon's mouth opened slightly. No sound came out, but suddenly Jiwoo heard a voice in her mind. It was weak, tired, desperate. "Please," the voice whispered. "Help me. They are killing me slowly." Jiwoo's hands shook. She was hearing thoughts. The dragon was speaking directly into her mind. This should be impossible. Everything about this situation was impossible. "Who are you?" Jiwoo thought back, not knowing if it would work. "My name is Baekdu," the dragon replied. "I am the last of the Drakvari. I was a guardian once. Now I am a prisoner. A battery for their machines." Jiwoo looked at the cables connected to the dragon's body. Now she understood. The machines were draining the dragon's energy. That explained the high readings on her scanner. They were using this creature as a power source. "How long have you been here?" Jiwoo asked. 8 months, Baekdu said. "Each day they take more. Soon there will be nothing left of me." Anger replaced Jiwoo's fear. She knew about the mining corporation. She knew they cut corners and ignored safety rules. Her own accident had been their fault, though they had covered it up and blamed it on equipment failure. But this was different. This was torture. This was murder. "I will help you," Jiwoo said firmly. "You cannot," Baekdu replied, sadness in his mental voice. "The chains are too strong. The security is too tight. You will only get yourself killed." "I don't care," Jiwoo said. "I cannot leave you here." A strange feeling washed over Jiwoo. It took her a moment to realize it was gratitude, coming from the dragon. Baekdu had given up hope long ago, but now a small spark of it returned. Jiwoo activated her hover chair's recording system. She needed evidence. She took dozens of images of Baekdu, the chains, the machines, everything, This facility was hidden, unmarked on any official map. The corporation had built it in secret. They knew what they were doing was wrong. As she recorded, Jiwoo's mind raced. She needed a plan. She needed help. She could not free Baekdu alone, but she knew people who might be brave enough to try. Her friend Hannah worked in medical. Her brother Daehyun was in security. Together, maybe they could figure something out. I will come back, Jiwoo promised Baekdu. I need to gather supplies and people I trust. Can you hold on for a little longer? I will try, Baekdu said, but hurry. They are planning to move me soon. I heard the guards talking. In 2 days, a ship will take me away. After that, you will never find me again. 2 days. Jiwoo had only 2 days to plan a rescue that seemed impossible. But she had faced impossible situations before. When the doctors said she would never work again, she proved them wrong. When people said she should give up and go back to Earth, she refused. Jiwoo was stubborn. It was her greatest strength. She was about to turn her hover chair around when alarms started blaring. Red lights flashed throughout the cavern. Jiwoo's blood turned cold. Security alarms. Someone knew she was here. Cameras must have spotted her, or maybe sensors detected her hover chair's energy signature. Go! Baekdu urged. Go now! Jiwoo did not need to be told twice. She pushed her hover chair to maximum speed, racing back through the tunnel. Behind her, she heard heavy footsteps and shouting voices. Guards were coming. She had maybe a minute before they caught her. Her hover chair shot out of the tunnel into the main mining area. Other workers looked up in surprise as she zoomed past them. Jiwoo did not stop. She headed straight for the lift that would take her up to the residential levels. If she could reach her quarters, she could hide the evidence she had gathered. The lift doors closed just as guards rounded the corner. Through the small window, Jiwoo saw them arguing, pointing at the lift. They knew someone had been in the restricted area. They knew someone had seen what should have stayed secret. As the lift climbed, Jiwoo clutched her scanner tightly. The images were stored in its memory, evidence of the corporation's crime, proof that they were torturing a sentient being for profit. 2 days. She had 2 days to save a dragon. The impossible had just become her mission. Jiwoo locked the door to her quarters and leaned back in her hover chair. Her hands were still shaking. She had made it back safely, but for how long? The corporation would be looking for whoever entered that restricted area. They would check security footage. They would question workers. She had maybe a few hours before they connected it to her. She needed to move fast. Jiwoo pulled out her personal tablet and connected her scanner to it. The images downloaded quickly. Dragons, chains, machines, all the proof she needed. But proof meant nothing if she could not show it to the right people. The corporation controlled everything on this colony. The security forces, the communications, even the courts. Going through official channels would be suicide. A soft knock on her door made Jiwoo jump. Her heart raced. Had they found her already? Jiwoo, it's me. A familiar voice called. Let me in. Quickly. Jiwoo relaxed slightly. It was Hannah, her best friend since childhood. They had grown up together on Earth and moved to this colony at the same time. Hannah worked in the medical center, treating injured miners and dealing with the various illnesses that came from living in space. Jiwoo opened the door. Hannah rushed inside, her face worried. She was carrying a medical bag and looked like she had run all the way from the hospital. What happened? Hannah asked. I heard alarms going off in the mining sector. Then I got a message from you saying it was urgent. Are you hurt? I am fine, Jiwoo said, but I need your help with something big, something dangerous. Hannah sat down on the bed. Tell me everything. Jiwoo did. She showed Hannah the images, explained about Baekdu, about the secret facility, about the corporation draining a living being for energy. Hannah's expression changed from concern to shock to anger as the story unfolded. Those monsters, Hannah whispered. How could they do this? Money, Jiwoo said bitterly. That dragon's energy could power entire cities. Imagine how much they could sell that for. They do not care that he is alive, that he thinks and feels. To them, he is just a product. Hannah stood up and paced a small room. We need to tell someone. The Galactic Council, the military, someone with authority. That will take too long, Jiwoo said. Baekdu said they are moving him in 2 days. By the time the council investigates, he will be gone, maybe dead. We need to act now. What can we do? Hannah asked. We are just 2 people. The corporation has hundreds of guards, advanced security systems, weapons. This is impossible. I know someone in security, Jiwoo said quietly. My brother, Daehyun. Hannah's eyes widened. Your brother works for them. Are you sure you can trust him? Jiwoo hesitated. Her relationship with her brother had been complicated since the accident. Daehyun had recommended her for the mining job 3 years ago, saying it would be a great opportunity. Then the accident happened, and everything changed. Daehyun had visited her in the hospital, guilt written all over his face. He knew the corporation had caused it through negligence, but he could not prove anything. Since then, they had drifted apart. But despite everything, Jiwoo knew her brother was a good man. He believed in justice and protecting people. If she could show him the truth, he would help. I trust him, Jiwoo said firmly. But first, we need more information. Can you access the corporation's database? Hannah bit her lip. I have medical clearance. I can access some files, but the really secret stuff is locked behind higher security levels. Try anyway, Jiwoo said. Look for anything about energy projects, capture specimens, secret facilities. Anything that connects to what I found. Hannah pulled out her own tablet and began typing. Her fingers flew over the screen as she navigated through the corporation systems. Jiwoo watched nervously. If they got caught hacking, they would both go to prison. Minutes passed. Then Hannah gasped. Jiwoo, look at this. The screen showed a list of files marked with the highest security classification. The titles made Jiwoo's blood run cold. Project Harvest, Energy Extraction Protocol, Specimen Containment, and worst of all, a file labeled Species Catalog. Can you open them? Jiwoo asked. I am trying, Hannah said. Her face was pale. These files are encrypted, but medical staff have partial access for health monitoring purposes. They must need doctors to keep the specimens alive while they drain them. The species catalog opened. Jiwoo felt sick as she read. Baekdu was not alone. The corporation had captured 12 other creatures from different worlds. Each entry had an image, a species name, and a status report. Most of the statuses said the same thing. Energy output declining. Specimen weakening. They were all dying. There are children here, Hannah whispered, pointing at one entry. This one is listed as a juvenile. They are torturing children. Jiwoo's hands clenched into fists. She thought about Baekdu, alone in that cavern for 8 months, slowly die while machines drained his life away. She thought about the other creatures, suffering in similar facilities across the colony. The corporation was running a torture operation, and no one knew about it. Download everything, Jiwoo ordered. Every file you can access. We need all the evidence we can get. While Hannah worked, Jiwoo composed a message to her brother. She had to be careful. If the corporation monitored their communications, which they probably did, she could not be too direct. Daehyun, she typed, I need to see you tonight. My quarters. It is about the accident. I found something you need to see. Come alone. She sent the message and waited. Would he come? Would he believe her? Or would he think she was causing trouble? 20 minutes later, her tablet buzzed. I will be there in 1 hour. This better be important. He is coming, Jiwoo told Hannah. Hannah looked up from her work. I got most of the files, but there is something else. Something worse. What could be worse than this? Jiwoo asked. There's an auction scheduled, Hannah said quietly. In 1 week, the corporation is selling the specimens to the highest bidders. Military contractors, weapons manufacturers, private collectors. Baekdu has already been purchased by someone called the Talon Syndicate. They are a weapons group. They want to study his biology to create new weapons. Jiwoo felt cold. 1 week. Even less time than she thought. And if Baekdu was moved to the Talon Syndicate's facility, there would be no rescuing him. Those people were ruthless. They would cut him apart to see how he worked. We cannot let that happen, Jiwoo said. But what can we do? Hannah asked desperately. Even if your brother helps us, we are talking about breaking into a maximum security facility, freeing a 50-foot dragon, and somehow escaping an entire colony's worth of security forces. It is suicide. Maybe, Jiwoo agreed, but doing nothing is worse. I looked into Baekdu's eyes. Hannah, he is a person, just like us. He thinks he feels he suffers. I cannot abandon him. I will not. Hannah stared at her friend for a long moment. Then she nodded slowly. All right, I am with you, even if it is crazy, even if we fail. Some things are worth fighting for. The hour passed slowly. Jiwoo and Hannah organized the evidence, planning what to show Daehyun first. They needed to convince him quickly before he could report them to his superiors. Finally, a knock came at the door. 3 sharp raps, then 2 soft ones. Daehyun spent the next 3 hours going through every file they had. He read reports, studied images, and checked security logs. His expression grew darker with each passing minute. Finally, he set down the tablet and rubbed his eyes. I need to verify this myself, he said. I need to see this facility with my own eyes. That is too dangerous, Hannah protested. If they catch you, they will know we are planning something. I have security clearance, Daehyun replied. I can say I am doing a random inspection. They cannot refuse me without raising suspicion. Jiwoo nodded. Be careful, brother. These people are willing to torture living beings for money. They will not hesitate to hurt you if they think you are a threat. Daehyun left, promising to return before morning. Jiwoo and Hannah tried to rest, but sleep would not come. They sat in the dark room, drinking coffee and going over their plan again and again. They needed to free Baekdu, but how? The security was too tight. The dragon was too weak to fly. Even if they broke the chains, getting him out of the colony seemed impossible. 4 hours later, Daehyun returned. His face was pale and his hands were shaking. It is all true, he said quietly. I saw the dragon. I saw the other creatures. I talked to one of the guards. He bragged about how much money the corporation will make from the auction. Daehyun sat down heavily. I have been working for monsters. All this time, I thought I was protecting people. Instead, I was guarding a torture facility. It is not your fault, Jiwoo said gently. You did not know. I should have known, Daehyun said bitterly. I should have asked questions. I should have wondered why certain areas were restricted, even to senior security staff. I was blind because the pay was good and the work was easy. Stop blaming yourself, Jiwoo said firmly. We do not have time for guilt. We need to focus on saving Baekdu and the others. Daehyun looked up at his sister. You are right. What do you need me to do? They spread out a map of the mining tunnels on the table. Daehyun marked all the security checkpoints, camera locations, and guard patrol routes he knew about. Jiwoo added her knowledge of the tunnel systems and ventilation shafts. Hannah listed the medical supplies they would need. We need more people. Hannah said, 3 of us cannot do this alone. I know a shuttle pilot, Daehyun said. His name is Minsu. He flies cargo runs between the colony and the orbital stations. He hates the corporation because they cheated him out of his bonus last year. He might help us. Can we trust him? Jiwoo asked. He is a good man, Daehyun assured her. A bit rough around the edges, but loyal. If he gives his word, he will keep it. What about getting through the security systems? Hannah asked. Even with your clearance, Daehyun, we cannot just walk into that facility. I know someone, Jiwoo said slowly. Young-hee, she works in systems engineering. She is brilliant with computers and security networks. We went to school together back on Earth. Do you trust her? Daehyun asked. Jiwoo hesitated. I think so. She always seemed kind, but I have not talked to her much since I arrived here. We do not have many options, Hannah pointed out. Without someone who can hack the security systems, this plan fails before it starts. It was decided Daehyun would contact Minsu. Jiwoo would reach out to Young-hee. They would all meet the next evening to finalize the plan. That gave them 1 day to prepare before Baekdu was scheduled to be moved. The next morning, Jiwoo found Young-hee in the engineering section. The woman was small and wore thick glasses, her hair tied back in a messy bun. She looked up from her computer screen as Jiwoo approached. "Jiwoo," Young-hee said, surprised. "I have not seen you in months. How are you?" "I need your help with something," Jiwoo said quietly. "Something dangerous and illegal, but also something right." Young-hee's eyes narrowed. "What are you talking about?" Jiwoo made sure no one was listening, then quickly explained the situation. She showed Young-hee one of the images of Baekdu on her tablet. Young-hee's expression changed from confusion to horror. "They're doing this here?" Young-hee whispered. "On our colony?" "Yes," Jiwoo said, "and we want to stop them. But we need someone who can get past their security systems. Someone smart enough to hack their network without getting caught." Young-hee was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "I always wonder why certain systems were off-limits to me. Why some areas had security measures that seemed excessive for a mining colony. Now it makes sense." She looked at Jiwoo. "What exactly do you need me to do?" That evening, 5 people gathered in Jiwoo's quarters. Daehyun had brought Min-soo, a rough-looking man with scar hands and a permanent scowl. But when Jiwoo showed him the images of Baekdu, the scowl faded. "I once saw a creature like this on a distant world," Min-soo said. "It saved my ship when we crashed. It used some kind of energy to repair our engines. We would have died out there without its help." He looked at the group. "I am in. Whatever you need." Young-hee had brought detailed schematics of the facility security network. She spread them out on the table, pointing to various nodes and systems. "The main security hub is here," she explained. "If I can access it, I can disable the cameras and door locks for about 20 minutes before the backup systems kick in. But I need to be physically present at this terminal." She pointed to a location on the map. "It is in the maintenance tunnels, about 200 meters from the main facility." 20 minutes is not much time," Hannah said. "It is enough if we move fast," Daehyun replied. "I can get us to the facility using my security clearance. Once Young-hee disables the cameras, we enter, break the chains, and get the dragon out." "How do we break the chains?" Jiwoo asked. "They're made of reinforced metal and powered by energy fields." "Medical plasma cutters," Hannah said. "We use them for emergency surgeries. They can cut through almost anything. I can get 3 of them from the hospital." "And once we free him?" Min-soo asked. "A 50-foot dragon is not exactly easy to hide. How do we get him off the colony?" "We use a cargo shuttle," Daehyun said. "Min-soo, you can fly us out during the shift change. Most of the security staff will be busy with handover procedures. If we time it right, we can reach orbit before they realize what happened." "Then what?" Young-hee asked. "They will send ships after us. The corporation has military contracts. They have access to armed vessels. We fly to the asteroid field," Min-soo said. "I know those rocks like the back of my hand. I can lose any pursuit in there. But where do we go after that?" Hannah asked. "We will be fugitives. We can never come back here." The room fell silent. Everyone understood what they were giving up. Their jobs, their homes, their futures. If they did this, there was no going back. "I have been thinking about that," Jiwoo said. She pulled up another file on her tablet. "When I was talking to Baekdu, he told me about his home world, a place called Sarinith. He said his people would reward anyone who helped him return home." "Do you believe him?" Young-hee asked. "Yes," Jiwoo said simply. I looked into his eyes. I felt his thoughts in my mind. He is not lying. If we can get him home, his people will help us. Daehyun stood up. "Then it is settled. Tomorrow night, during the shift change, we make our move. Young-hee disables security. Hannah and I go in with the plasma cutters. Jiwoo guides us using her knowledge of the tunnels. Min-soo prepares a shuttle. We have one chance at this. If we fail, we all go to prison or worse." "I am not afraid," Hannah said firmly. "Neither am I," Young-hee added. Min-soo grinned. "I have been in worse situations. At least this time it is for a good cause." Jiwoo looked at each of them. These people were risking everything to help a creature they had never met. They were proving that humanity could be brave and compassionate, even in the face of danger. "Thank you," she said quietly. "All of you. Baekdu will never forget this. Neither will I." That night, Jiwoo reached out to Baekdu with her mind. She had been practicing, try to strengthen their telepathic connection. "Baekdu," she thought. "Can you hear me?" "Yes," came the weak reply. "You came back. I was afraid you had abandoned me." "Never," Jiwoo promised. "Tomorrow night, we are coming to free you. You need to be ready. When we cut the chains, can you move?" "I will try," Baekdu said, "but I am very weak. 8 months of torture has taken much from me. I may not be able to fly." "You do not need to fly," Jiwoo assured him. "Just walk. Can you do that?" "For freedom, I will crawl if I must," Baekdu replied. Then, softer, "Why are you doing this? You barely know me. You are risking everything." "Because it is right," Jiwoo said simply. "Because you are suffering and I can help. Is that not reason enough?" Jiwoo felt warmth flow through their connection, gratitude and respect, and something else. Hope. After 8 months of darkness, Baekdu finally had hope again. The shift change happened at exactly 8 in the evening. Workers left their posts, tired from 12 hours of labor. New workers arrived, still groggy from sleep. For 15 minutes, the colony was in organized chaos. It was a perfect time to move. Young-hee reached the maintenance terminal first. Her fingers flew over the keyboard, typing codes and bypassing security protocols. Sweat dripped down her face despite the cold air. One wrong move, and alarms would sound across the entire colony. "I am in," she whispered into her communicator. "You have 18 minutes. Go now." Daehyun led the way through the tunnels, his security badge opening doors that should have been locked. Jiwoo followed in her hover chair, with Hannah close behind carrying a bag full of medical plasma cutters. They moved quickly but carefully, avoiding the main corridors where workers might see them. The entrance to the secret facility loomed ahead. 2 guards stood at the door, looking bored. They straightened when they saw Daehyun approaching. "Sir," one guard said, "this area is restricted." "I know," Daehyun replied calmly. "Random inspection. Director's orders." The guard frowned. "We were not notified of any inspection." "That is why it is called random," Daehyun said coldly. "Are you going to let me do my job, or do I need to report your obstruction to the director?" The guards exchanged nervous glances. Finally, they stepped aside. Daehyun's badge opened the door. The 3 of them entered the facility, hearts pounding. The cavern was exactly as Jiwoo remembered. Green lights pulsed from the machines. Cables snaked across the floor. And in the center, Baekdu lay chained and suffering. The dragon's eyes opened when he sensed Jiwoo's presence. "You came," his voice whispered in her mind. "You actually came." "I promised," Jiwoo replied. "Now hold still. We are getting you out of here." Hannah pulled out the plasma cutters and handed one to Daehyun. They approached the chains carefully. Up close, the metal looked even thicker and more intimidating. The energy field around them crackled with power. "Cut the leg chains first," Jiwoo instructed. "Then the wings. The neck chain last." The plasma cutters hummed to life. Bright blue beams cut into the metal. Sparks flew as the chains began to give way. Baekdu winced but stayed silent, not wanting to alert any guards who might be nearby. The first chain fell away with a heavy clang. Then the second. Baekdu shifted his legs, testing them. He was weak, but he could move. 12 minutes left. Young-hee's voice came through the communicator. Daehyun and Hannah worked faster. The wing chains were thicker and took longer to cut. Jiwoo watched the entrance nervously, expecting guards to burst through at any moment. Suddenly, alarms began blaring. Red lights flashed throughout the cavern. Jiwoo's blood turned cold. "What happened?" Daehyun shouted into his communicator. "Someone found me," Young-hee's panicked voice replied. "Security is coming. You have maybe 3 minutes before they reach you." "We are not done yet," Hannah said desperately, still cutting through the wing chains. "We do not have time," Daehyun said. We need to go now. No, Jiwoo said firmly. We finished this. We did not come this far to leave him half-chained. The sound of running footsteps echoed through the tunnels. Voices shouted orders. The security forces were close. Baekdu looked at Jiwoo with his golden eyes. Leave me, he said. Save yourselves. You tried. That is more than anyone else has done. Be quiet, Jiwoo snapped. We are not leaving you. The final wing chain fell away. Only the neck chain remained, the thickest and strongest of them all. Hannah and Daehyun both worked on it, their plasma cutters straining against the reinforced metal. The door burst open. A dozen security guards rushed in, weapons raised. Behind them came a man in an expensive suit, Director Taesung. His face was twisted with anger. Stop right there, he commanded. Step away from the specimen. Daehyun and Hannah stopped cutting. They looked at Jiwoo, waiting for her decision. The neck chain was half cut through, but not enough. Baekdu was still trapped. You foolish girl, Taesung said, walking closer to Jiwoo. Did you really think you could steal corporate property? That dragon is worth billions of credits. You have cost me a great deal of trouble. He is not property, Jiwoo said angrily. He is a living being. What you're doing is torture. What I am doing is business, Taesung replied. And you, all of you are going to prison for a very long time. Guards, arrest them. The guards moved forward. Daehyun raised his hands in surrender. Hannah did the same. They had failed. Then Baekdu spoke, not telepathically, but out loud. His voice was deep and resonant, filling the entire cavern. Wait. Everyone froze. Even Taesung looked surprised. He had never heard the dragon speak before. I have a gift, Baekdu said, looking at Jiwoo. Something I can give you, but it will cost me greatly. Perhaps my life. What are you talking about? Jiwoo asked. The Drakvari can share our life energy with others, Baekdu explained. We can heal wounds, cure sickness, and restore what was lost. I can give you back your legs. Jiwoo, I can make you walk again. Jiwoo stared at him in shock. But you said it might kill you. You are already so weak. I am die anyway, Baekdu said gently. These chains are draining what little I have left. But if I give my energy to you, at least some part of me will survive, and you will have the strength to finish cutting this final chain. No, Jiwoo said, tears streaming down her face. I will not let you die for me. It is not just for you, Baekdu replied. It is for all the others like me, the creatures being tortured in secret. Someone needs to stop these people. Someone brave and strong. That someone is you, Jiwoo. Before Jiwoo could protest further, Baekdu closed his eyes. Light began to glow from his scales, bright and pure. It flowed from his body into Jiwoo, warm and powerful. She gasped as energy filled her, racing through her veins like liquid fire. Her legs, paralyzed for 3 years, began to tingle, then burn, then move. Jiwoo stood up from her hover chair. Her legs supported her weight. She took a step, then another. She could walk. She could run. Stop this immediately, Taesung shouted. Guards, shoot the dragon. The guards raised their weapons. But Jiwoo moved faster than she ever had before. The energy Baekdu had given her made her strong and quick. She grabbed Hannah's plasma cutter and ran to the neck chain. Guards fired their weapons. The energy bolts missed as Jiwoo dodged with inhuman speed. She reached the chain and cut with all her strength. The plasma beam sliced through the remaining metal like butter. The chain fell away. Baekdu was free, but he collapsed immediately, too weak to stand. The energy transfer had taken everything he had left. His breathing was shallow, his eyes closed. No, Jiwoo cried, kneeling beside his massive head. Stay with me. You cannot die. Not now. Not after everything. Daehyun and Hannah fought off the guards, using the plasma cutters as weapons. Min-Soo's voice came through the communicator. I am at the tunnel entrance with the shuttle. You need to move now. More security forces are coming. Help me. Jiwoo called to her friends. We need to get Baekdu to the shuttle. He is too big, Hannah protested. We cannot carry him. Then we drag him, Ji-woo said desperately. Working together, the three of them pulled Baekdu's massive body toward the exit. The dragon barely seemed to be breathing. Ji-woo could feel their telepathic connection growing weaker. They reached the tunnel, where Min-soo waited with the shuttle. Its cargo bay was barely big enough for Baekdu. They pushed and pulled, finally getting the dragon inside. Go, Dae-hyun shouted. Get him out of here. What about you? Ji-woo asked. Someone needs to hold him off. Dae-hyun replied. I will be fine. I am security, remember? I can talk my way out of this. But Ji-woo knew he was lying. Dae-hyun would be arrested, maybe worse. He was sacrificing himself to give them time to escape. Brother, Ji-woo said, hugging him tightly. Thank you for everything. Go save your dragon. Dae-hyun said with a sad smile. Make this mean something. Ji-woo, Hannah, and Min-soo climbed into the shuttle. The doors closed. The engines roared to life. Through the window, Ji-woo saw Dae-hyun standing alone, facing down a corridor full of armed guards. Then the shuttle launched, and her brother disappeared from view. They flew through the mining tunnels, the shuttle's engines screaming. Min-soo piloted with expert skill, dodging support beams and low ceilings. Behind them, corporate security ships gave chase. They are gaining on us, Min-soo warned. Baekdu stirred weakly. I have one more gift, he whispered in Ji-woo's mind. One last thing I can do. Light gathered around the dragon's body. Faint but present. It pulsed once, twice, then exploded outward in a wave of electromagnetic energy. The shuttle systems flickered but held. Behind them, the pursuing ships went dark, their engines dead. But the effort was too much. Baekdu went completely still. His breathing stopped. No, Ji-woo sobbed, placing her hands on the scales. Please, stay with me. She felt the energy he had given her, warm in her veins. And she understood. The connection went both ways. Just as he had given her his life energy, she could give it back. Without hesitation, Ji-woo pressed her hands firmly against Baekdu and pushed. The energy flowed from her body into his. Her legs grew weak again, the strength leaving her. But she did not stop. She gave everything Baekdu had given her, and more. Her legs gave out. She collapsed, unable to walk once more. But Baekdu's chest began to rise and fall again. His eyes opened, weak but alive. Foolish human, he said softly. You gave back what I gifted you. We save each other, Ji-woo whispered. That is what friends do. The shuttle flew on into the darkness of space, leaving the colony behind. The shuttle drifted through space, its engines barely working after the electromagnetic pulse. Min-soo struggled with the controls, trying to keep them on course. Ji-woo sat in her hoverchair again, her legs useless once more. But she did not regret her choice. Baekdu was alive, and that was all that mattered. Where are we going? Hannah asked, looking at the star charts. I do not know, Min-soo admitted. The pulse damaged our navigation systems. We are flying blind. Suddenly, the shuttle lurched. Something was pulling them, like an invisible hand grabbing their ship. Min-soo tried to fight it, but the controls would not respond. We are caught in some kind of gravitational field, he said, alarmed. Something is dragging us toward those coordinates. Is it the corporation? Hannah asked fearfully. No, Baekdu said weakly from the cargo hold. It is my people. They have found us. Through the window, space itself seemed to shimmer and tear. A massive opening appeared, revealing a hidden passage. The shuttle was pulled through it, and suddenly they were somewhere else entirely. A planet floated before them, beautiful beyond words. Its surface was covered in crystal forest that sparkled in the light of two suns. Rivers of pure energy flowed across the landscape like glowing veins. Cities made of light dotted the continents. This was Sarinith, Baekdu's home world. Dozens of dragons emerged from the planet, flying up to meet them. They were magnificent creatures, each one different in color and size. Some were blue like the ocean, others red like fire, still others green like forests. They surrounded the shuttle gently, guiding it down to the surface. The shuttle landed in a clearing surrounded by crystal trees. The cargo door opened, and Jiwoo saw hundreds of dragons waiting outside. At the front stood a massive dragon, even larger than Baekdu, with scales that shimmered like starlight. "I am Hanul," the dragon spoke, her voice like music in Jiwoo's mind. "I am Baekdu's mate. You saved his life. For that, my people owe you a debt we can never fully repay." Other dragons carefully lifted Baekdu from the shuttle. They carried him to a pool of glowing water nearby. As soon as Baekdu touched the water, his wounds began to heal. The burns from the chains faded. His scales regained their brilliant color. He grew stronger with each passing moment. Jiwoo watched, relieved, tears running down her face. He was going to be all right. Hanul approached Jiwoo's hover chair. "Come, small one. My people wish to meet the human who showed such courage." Jiwoo, Hannah, and Minsu followed Hanul to a great hall made of crystal and light. Hundreds of dragons gathered there, all watching the three humans with curious eyes. "For too long, we have hidden from a galaxy," Hanul said, her voice now speaking aloud so all could hear. "We hid because we were hunted, because beings like that corporation sought to use us as tools and weapons. We watched as they captured our kind, tortured them, killed them. We did nothing because we were afraid." The assembled dragons murmured in shame. "But this human girl," Hanul continued, gesturing to Jiwoo, "she did not hide. She did not look away from suffering. Though she could barely walk, though she had every reason to fear for her own safety, she chose to help. She risked everything to free one dragon she barely knew." Hanul's eyes glowed brighter. "She has shown us what we forgot. That courage is not the absence of fear or weakness. It is acting despite them. She has reminded us what it means to be guardians." The dragons began to glow, one by one, their light filling the hall. It was a gesture of respect, Jiwoo realized. They were honoring her. "We have been gathering evidence," Hanul continued. "For years, we have documented the corporation's crimes across many worlds. We have recordings, testimonies, proof of everything they have done, but we did not know how to bring this evidence to those who could act on it. The Galactic Council does not know we exist. They would not believe messages from hidden dragons. But they would believe a human," Jiwoo said, understanding. "Yes," Hanul confirmed. "You are the bridge between our peoples. You can bring our evidence to the council. You can speak for those who cannot speak for themselves." Jiwoo thought about the other creatures still suffering in secret facilities. She thought about Daehyun, who had sacrificed his freedom for them. She thought about the 12 other beings listed in that terrible catalog. "I will do it," Jiwoo said firmly. "I will make sure everyone knows what the corporation has done." "There is more we offer you," Hanul said gently. "Baekdu gave you the gift of walking, and you returned it to save his life. Such selflessness deserves reward. My people can heal your paralysis permanently, using our ancient knowledge. You will walk again, and this time will last forever." Jiwoo's breath caught. To walk again, to run, to be free from her hover chair. It was everything she had dreamed of for 3 years. "But I have a request," Jiwoo said carefully. "Can you share this healing with others? There are millions of disabled beings across the galaxy who suffer as I did. If you have the power to heal, please use it to help them too." The dragons were silent for a moment. Then Hanul laughed, a sound like bells ringing. "You think of others even now," she said warmly. "Yes, small one. We will share our healing knowledge with your people. We will teach them how to use bioenergy to repair what was broken. This will be our gift to the galaxy." Over the next few days, the dragons healed Jiwoo's spine. It was painless, just warm energy flowing through her body, rebuilding damaged nerves and tissue. When it was done, she stood without needing Baekdu's life force. She walked on her own legs, strong and steady. But there was no time to celebrate. They had work to do. Hanul provided Jiwoo with data crystals containing all the evidence against the corporation. Recordings of creatures being tortured. Financial records showing illegal sales. Communications proving the directors knew exactly what they were doing. It was enough to bring down the entire organization. Min-Su flew them to the nearest Galactic Council station. Ji-Woo, walking on her own 2 feet, entered a grand chamber where representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered. She carried the data crystals and Baekdu's testimony. At first, the council members did not want to listen. A young human girl accusing a powerful corporation seemed ridiculous. But then Ji-Woo played the recordings. She showed them images of Baekdu in chains, of other creatures suffering, of the secret facilities hidden across the galaxy. The chamber fell silent. Even the most hardened politicians looked sick. This corporation has committed crimes against sentient life on an unimaginable scale, the council leader declared. They will face justice. Within weeks, the corporation was raided. Director Tae-sung and all the senior leadership were arrested. The secret facilities were shut down. Every captured creature was freed and returned to their home worlds. The company's money was seized and given to the victims. Dae-hyun and Young-hee were pardoned for their role in the rescue. Dae-hyun was promoted to lead a new organization dedicated to protecting sentient beings from exploitation. Young-hee became his technical expert, using her skills to hunt down other illegal operations. The Drakvar emerged from hiding, taking their place once more as guardians of the galaxy. They shared their healing knowledge freely, and medical centers across all worlds began using bioenergy to cure diseases and repair injuries. Millions of disabled beings received treatment, just as Ji-Woo had. A new alliance formed between humanity and the Drakvari. Ji-Woo became the first ambassador, living part-time on Sarinith and part-time on Earth. She spoke at universities and conferences, telling her story, inspiring others to stand up against injustice. 5 years passed. Ji-Woo stood on a cliff overlooking Sarinith's crystal forests. Baekdu landed beside her, fully healed and strong. They had become close friends, their telepathic bond growing deeper with time. Do you ever regret it? Baekdu asked, giving up your quiet life to fight for others? Never, Ji-Woo said. Before I found you, I thought my life was over. I thought being paralyzed meant being helpless. But you taught me that real strength has nothing to do with walking or running. It is about choosing to help, even when it is hard, even when it is dangerous. You taught me something too, Baekdu replied. I had given up hope. I thought I would die in those chains. But you came for me, a small human girl who could barely move, and she came for me anyway. You reminded me that courage exists in all species, in all sizes. Sometimes the smallest beings have the biggest hearts. Ships appeared in the sky, descending toward Sarinith. They were diplomatic vessels from dozens of worlds, coming to meet with the Drakvari. The alliance was growing stronger every day. There is still so much work to do, Ji-Woo said. So many others out there who need help. And we will help them, Baekdu promised. Together, humans and Drakvari, side by side. Ji-Woo smiled. She thought about that day in the dark tunnel, when she had first seen Baekdu chained and suffering. She had been so afraid, so unsure, but she had made the choice to help anyway. That choice had changed everything. It had freed a dragon, exposed terrible crimes, forged an alliance between species, and given hope to millions. All because one paralyzed girl decided that doing the right thing mattered more than being safe. Thank you, Ji-Woo said to Baekdu, for trusting me, for believing in me when I was just a scared girl in a hover chair. Thank you, Baekdu replied, for teaching the galaxy what humans are truly capable of. Not conquest or greed, but compassion and courage. You are the best of your species, Ji-Woo, and I am honored to call you my friend. They stood together on that cliff, human and dragon, watching the ships land, watching a new era begin, an era where different species work together to protect the weak and punish the cruel, an era where a paralyzed human girl had become a legend, the girl who found a dragon crying for help and changed the galaxy forever. Far away, in the other facilities they had shut down, other rescued creatures were returning to their homes. They told stories of the brave humans who had freed them. They spoke of Ji-Woo, of Dae-hyun, of Hannah and Min-Su and Young-hee. They spoke of how humanity, despite being young and sometimes foolish, had shown that they could be heroes too. And across the galaxy, Whenever someone asked why the Drakvari had chosen to ally with humans above all other species, the answer was always the same. Because when everyone else walked away from suffering, a human girl in a hover chair rolled toward it. Because when given the choice between safety and justice, humans chose justice. Because they proved that true strength is not in walking, but in standing up for what is right. This was humanity's gift to the stars. Not weapons or technology, but the simple courage to help those in need. And that gift would echo through the ages, inspiring countless beings to be brave, to be kind, to be better. All because one girl refused to look away from a dragon's tears.